Hey, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini. I post weekly videos right here on my YouTube channel, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to prep your fabric, get it in the hoop, transfer your design, and get ready to start hand embroidery. Alright, so by now you should have all your hand embroidery supplies, and we're going to get started with prepping our fabric and choosing a design and all that fun. Now if you have no idea what I'm talking about, or you're not sure the supplies you need, make sure that you click right here, and that will take you straight to the entire video playlist where all the videos in this hand embroidery series will be there for you to watch from beginning to end. So now let's move on. We are starting off with a sample here. I'm using Osnaburg fabric. This is just a loosely woven 100% cotton fabric. Has a nice drape to it, and I really like it because it has a nice neutral color, and then it also has these little brown speckles that give it this really kind of cool organic look. If you don't like this look but you still want to use the same type of fabric, remember it's cotton, so you can totally feel free to dye it, okay? And then go back and hand embroider over it. But we're gonna get started with choosing a design. Now, you can see I have one little design here. I like to work with small pieces, especially for beginners. I recommend you start off with a small design, and it's just a fun way for you to take a small project with you on the go, and then also a way for you to practice some different stitches until you get a hang of it, right? And then you can move on to larger things. So for small ones, I really like this book. It's a book by Indigo Junction. It's called Stitch Style. There's 20 different projects in here, and they feature 65 different embroidery designs. And it's really cool the way they have it in here because you can trace the design or iron on transfer. They have it set up here with iron on transfer paper right in the book. So I'm just going to show you some, just so you can see what I'm talking about. You see how all the motifs are kind of small and cute? And you can use these all to embellish ready-made garments, purses, back pockets, jeans, and things like that. Or you can also do what I like to do, and that is embroider on the fabric that I'm going to use and then make a project out of it. So you can do it that way as well. But there's a lot of fun things in here. I've already done this one. You can see that design is this one that's down here. Really cute. But for this purpose of this video, we're going to keep it a little bit simpler. So I'm going to do this simple one. And let me show you what I like to do. Notice in this book, this is the transfer side, so I could cut this out and lay it on top of my fabric and press it directly with my iron, and it will transfer over the design to your fabric. I'm not going to cut into the sheets of the book, so instead I prefer the tracing method. And for that, I'm just going to need a sheet of paper. This happens to be lined. You can use any paper that you can see through. That will work fine. So we're going to try out the blue pen today. And I'm just going to take it off. You can see the tip. It's not very fine, so do be careful with it. If you're going to be using 1 or 2 threads of the embroidery floss, the line may be too thick for you, so just keep that in mind. Or if you use a color from the pack here that's going to blend in with the same color thread or floss you're going to use on top, then that will work as well. All right, so I'm just going to lay it on top of my design here and carefully all right, now this blue ink, I can see that it's going to be nice and light. So this one would probably be good for lighter fabrics or for embroidery floss that's a little bit thinner because it's not quite as dark as the black that I used before. So we have our design traced here. Now we're going to take it over to our fabric. Bring our ironing board here because you're going to need a nice hot iron, not with steam, just a dry one, okay? Now, when we're transferring using this iron-on method, keep in mind that whatever design you're using is now going to be flipped, and it's going to be the reverse on your fabric. What I like, again, about the designs in this book is that most of them are symmetrical, so it's not going to matter which way you're doing it. So like this was the mirror image, so keep that in mind. Whatever design you're tracing out or drawing, it's going to transfer over to your fabric in the mirror image. So I traced on it this side, so let me flip it and put it wherever you want to have your design, and I'm just going to hit it with the iron from up top. Now you can even tape the paper down to your fabric. The idea is you want to keep it nice and steady without moving it, because then to place it on top, if you peel it up and you try to place it right back in place, you probably won't get it, so you'll end up with 2 lines, you know what I mean? Like it won't be traced in one even motion. So I usually will bring the iron over, flip this back, and check it on all sides and make sure that it's transferred, and I can see that it has. So remove my little iron, and now you can remove this, and look how cute. A nice pale light blue color, and it's transferred over in the design that I want. So now let me show you how we are going to put our fabric in the hoop to get started for stitching. So when you get your embroidery hoop, this comes in wood, it comes in plastic. It usually comes like this. They'll come really nice and tightly together. So just unscrew the hardware part here until you can separate the two circles. So one will be the inside and the one with the hardware goes on the outside, all right? And remember that they come in circle or square, so just read the manufacturer instructions for whatever hoop you're using. I'm gonna lay the one that has no hardware on it right on my work table, and then I'm gonna drape the fabric over so that I have fabric on all the way around. If you had a square, make sure it's all over all four sides so you have that overlap. If you don't have an overlap and you're working with a smaller piece of fabric, you're gonna have to switch down to a smaller sized hoop. All right, now the second one, the one that has the hardware, you see how it's loose up here? I can move it. So I'm gonna work it, I'm gonna pull it open and drape it over so that it fits on the outside of the first circle we laid down. Now this looks like really good tension to me, so I'm gonna pick it up and tighten it right here. So righty-tighty this way. Tighten it and hold it right in place. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how I like to have it. You can see that when I poke my fingers up from under it, the fabric is still coming up. So it's not super taut, okay? There's still some movement to it. I don't want it to be super, super tight either, but you also don't want it to have like ripples so it's kind of pooled in there. So this is a nice good tension, at least for how I like to do it. Once you get started, you'll get a better feel for it and you will come up with what works for you. So once that's nice and held in place, we're ready to start stitching. So I hope you all enjoyed this little getting started video on how to prep your fabric, choose and transfer your design. And I hope you'll join me back here for another video in this series where we actually start practicing our hand embroidery stitches. All right, so let's recap what we've covered already in this video. We've talked about prepping our fabric. I'm using 100% cotton Osnaburg fabric. Remember, if you don't like the color, feel free to dye it. It's cotton. Then we went over selecting a design. We went ahead and picked out something simple. Remember to, you can look on the internet. There's free downloadable PDF patterns for simple hand embroidery designs all over the place. I like the ones in the Stitch Style book. There's 65 different designs here, and most of them are super simple for beginners. They're not very complex. So stick to something simple, kind of like the one I showed you in this video. And then we went over my favorite method to transfer the designs to the fabric, and I use the Sulky iron-on transfer pens that come in a variety of colors. We used the blue one for this one, so we did that using the transfer pens and a hot dry iron with no steam. Okay, so go ahead, get your materials, your fabric, prep your stuff, choose a transfer method that you'd like to use, because there's a lot of other ways to do it as well. And then find a simple, not really complex design that you can transfer over and get ready to start stitching. So that's it for this video, and I hope to see you in the next one where we'll start practicing our stitches. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit it with the thumbs up below, share it across the different social media sites, and don't forget to click the subscribe button so you won't miss out on any of my future videos. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!